Today is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. It is also day 55 of SQL, and today I'm going to just create an SQL database. It's kind of going to be just like a dummy down version of my web dev logs. Yesterday I did Blender logs, so I guess that's what we'll do today. So create table, and then I'll call it web dev logs, or maybe just web logs. And then in the parentheses are the columns that I want. So first one would be the ID, that's the identifier. It's basically saying, it's basically giving a number to each of my rows or every entry, just so I can access it later on. But it's an integer, so the next thing would be the data type, so it would be integer. If it was like text, then it would be text. And then I'm just going to say primary key, so SQL knows that this is not just any random column, but it's like the identifier. All right, and then I'm going to add a second column, and I think today, let me go to my web dev logs, like what's something, maybe like the title or like the summary. So I'll do text, that data type text, that's going to be a summary. And then like, I don't know, what could be the next thing? Maybe like, what kind of end was it? Like, was it front end or back end? I could do that too. So I'll do end. Oh, that's an actual thing. So I'll have to change that to be to maybe like, I don't know. Um, what would I do? Or like, let's do path and set that to text. All right, and then those are my columns. And so now if I want to insert a row into it, I'll just do insert into table name, so web logs. And then I'll put in the columns that I want to insert. So for me, that would end up being, let's say, the ID, the basically all the columns. So summary, and then the path, and then I put the values that I want to insert in here. So that would end up being like, let's say the first, let me just take one. Let's take day 406. So I'll do day 406, and then the summary for day 406, it could be the title. Let's see, description, put that in there. And then the last thing would be the path, and that was definitely front end. All right, and then now in order to actually see my entry, I'll just select everything, that's what the asterisk is, or the star, from my table name, which is web logs, and I'll be able to see my first entry, which is pretty cool. Now, I believe another way that I could do this is if I insert into web logs, and then I can just insert the values in here. So like, hold up, I could do like 406, and then I can just paste that again in here, paste that in there, and then do front end. And then let me delete this and see if that works. Values, there we go. Yep, it works perfect. So these are two ways to do it. I started off with this way, like doing it this way, but because sometimes I want like the ID to be automatically added, I don't actually have to add the ID, so I would actually have to specify which columns I would add, so that would just end up being summary and path if I specify like the um ID needs to be automatically added. And so then this like way is useful, but not for this case. But I'm still gonna use it that way. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. All right, I'll leave it like that. And then I'll add in a few more. So like let's take in, I don't know, day 401. No, I don't like day 4. Maybe I don't like that either. Hold up, day 404. Okay. Day 404, I did, what did I do? Well, obviously I can see what I did. I'm trying to look for the title or description. So this is going to change to day 404, and I'm going to just paste the title in there, and I did front end, and then let me search for one that's back end. So let me just, okay, there we go. Just search for one that's back end. So that's like I'll take day 343. So day 343 was back end. So I'll just change that to 343. And just get that description there. So I was like figuring out VS Code. I downloaded VS Code for well, not for the first time. I downloaded it before, but I've never actually got to use it. And this is where I was like really trying. So then I'm just going to call this backend. And now this is my table. So I have the ID. So technically it's the day. I think I could, let's see, I can select ID as day. from weblogs, and then I could also select the summary and what's the other thing? The path. So now I can just change it to say day instead of ID. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I have like the day, the summary, what I did, and then like the path. Was it front end or back end? So it's a little like shorthand of my web dev logs that I created in I was gonna say HTML that I created in SQL today. Um, yeah, that's it. Bye.